This is 5 Star Life Radio on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Welcome back to 5 Star Life Radio. I'm Coach Seth. You're listening to 5 Star Life Radio on 95.3 MNC. I'm joined in studio with my co-host, Coach Mia.
Thanks, Seth.
And we are having a sober conversation. And it is, if you're just tuned in and you're learning about 5 Star Life, we're on a mission to change the face of education, of sports, of culture. We're trying to change youth culture. We're trying to change our entire culture. And it starts by helping our kids develop healthy mindsets. And you can go to our website, 5starlife.org, to learn more. But if you're just tuning in, we're on the cusp of a conversation. Segment 1, we talked about the tragedy that struck here locally. One of our own, Tyler Brown, who was tragically shot in the head last week and is fighting for his life. He made it through surgery, emergency surgery, and he survived, and there's been very little updates from his mom, but we just got an update just minutes ago. His mom texted saying that the doctors just came in this morning sharing that with brain scans, they've found his brain is active, there's responsive, there's activity, and that's the second miracle. One, that his life was spared, that he lived through a gunshot wound to the head. He survived surgery, and 3, now we see that the brain is now functioning, which is huge. So thank you to everybody who's praying. You can go to our 5 Star Life Facebook page. You can go to my personal Facebook page, Seth Most, and I'm providing updates in real time as I get them. And you can see kind of some of the media coverage and some of the people, all the overwhelming flood of support that this community is offering. But to take it back to solutions, when these things happen, people throw up their arms, they say, oh, that's terrible, and people feel really bad for about a week. And people that are really close to it, they stay in touch and engaged for about 2 weeks to a month. And then we go on with our lives. We go back to school, we go back to work, and meanwhile, Tyler's mom and family, this is where they'll be. And here is what we have to do. Besides folding your hands and thanking God for safety and protection over your own family, which I think every time this happens, that's what you do. You remember, this could be me, this could be one of my children, this could be someone in my family. And so you're thankful. But then I think we have to go back and we have to put a part of our heart and mind back with Tyler's family and let it stay there. We have to seat ourselves in their position if we want to see change. Because if we're going to see change, letting it go and moving on and saying, oh, knock on wood, we're good, too bad for them, that is not how things change. We have to take some initiative. Here's what we're proposing. We've had a lot of people, Mia, reach out to us and just say, hey, we want to help. We know 5 Star Life wants to respond. We want to help. There are groups that we're working with that we actually, before this happened, we're already in process with. That you'll actually hear from them next week, from Loria and Takesha, two moms that they have lived this out. I'm not going to steal their thunder, but both of them lost their own kids to gun violence right here in South Bend. And they have turned their pain into something purposeful. And that is exactly my call to action for every one of you. Take this moment of pain, of grieving, but turn it into purpose. And here is what we know based on research, based on the work we've done. If you want to turn this around, we have got to fix the broken mindsets of kids. Now think about this, Mia. Think about kids when they come out of the womb, they're little babies, they're precious, they're beautiful, they may be selfish, they may be stinkers, but they're curious, they're innovative, they're fun, they're loving, they're all of those things. One thing they're not is they're not, when you think about, no mom or grandma would think, okay, this 6-year-old is going to grow up to be a shooter. Mm-hmm. It's just not in the picture.
Right.
You'd never think it's possible. 8 years old, still wouldn't think it. But something happens between 8, 10, 16. In that window, something happens. And you can see it in research. You can see, there's all kinds of studies about it. Something's happening. And it's not as though we don't know when it happens or what happens, but their mindset starts to explore purpose. It starts to explore meaning. And at some point in their mind, they say, violence, street life, that is more attractive. Like, I have a better chance of succeeding going down this path than I do educationally or sports or whatever. That's what happens. So we have got to up our game and say, let's get programs like 5-Star Life that target mindset. Let's get mentors. Let's get all of these people and organizations that are like-minded to pull together to make sure we wrap around the situation from 360 degrees. If we do that, it's not rocket science. We will see gun violence go down. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Seth, talk about that a little bit more, because I think when you say it like, I want you to just kind of break it down, because when you say that, it's like, oh yeah, right, sure. But talk a little bit about our program and the depth of our program and how that can really change gun violence.
Yes. So when you think about the decision-making process, if you don't have the tool set to manage your emotions, if you don't have the tool set to even process all the thoughts swimming around in your brain, so you think about brain science, research says that you have the terrible twos, which for my kids, it was always like the fours, the 3s and 4s. That was when they would just act crazy, meltdowns. It was just crazy. It was like, what happened? And so they call it the terrible twos. Well, what's happening in that process neurologically is the prefrontal cortex, the front part of a child's brain. That's the CEO, the decision maker of the brain. It's not formed. And so little kids, 2, 3, 4 years old, what's happening is they're having to grab onto any random thought. So let's just say they, like my son Jordan, I remember he comes to the table, he gets up in the morning, I made oatmeal for him, and he comes to the table, looks in the bowl, and he wants Cheerios. Instead, it's oatmeal. Well, in his brain, he sees oatmeal instead of Cheerios. So he is ticked. I mean, talk about violent. The kids at 4 years old can actually be a little bit violent. And so he's mad. He starts slamming his fist down the table, and he's pounding the table. He gets down the floor, starts slapping the ground. He's saying, no oatmeal, Cheerios, honey, milk. And, well, this is the neurological process. Is he a horrible kid? Should I be concerned? Is this the end of the world? Do I have a violent kid? No. Neuroscience just says he is learning how to choose what's going to control his thoughts and his actions. He has no ability, no skills. There's no muscles built in to make good decisions. So he's just grabbing the first thought and running with it, acting it out. Mm-hmm. As a dad, I grab him, I pick him up, and I put him in the seat, and I put him up next to the bowl, and I say, this is breakfast. It's oatmeal. And he takes his little toes, and he pushes the chair back, and he goes through a tirade again. And I, as a dad, I'm just watching. I pick him up. Not many words. I just sit him down. I push the chair in, and he's realizing, okay, I can keep screaming. I can keep slamming the ground. I can keep flipping and flopping, but this always ends in me being in this chair. So what I'm doing isn't working. Mm-hmm. It's not working. That is how kids learn how to make choices that work for them. They learn. Okay, that's why parenting is so important. It's so important. Parenting is so... Well, fast forward to the time they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's this sweet spot from 5 to 10. Kids start to grasp onto, okay, I don't like my neck being pinched. I don't like discipline this way. It's better for me to handle myself a different way that it ends well for me, and my parents seem to be happy. They learn that. And for about 4 or 5 years, there's a pretty good process. Kids aren't perfect, but there's a lot less meltdowns. It's pretty normal. Well, guess what happens? Adolescence kicks in, and literally hormones come coursing through their brains, and it washes over their prefrontal cortex, erasing a majority of that CEO that makes decisions and that has an idea of this is a good choice, this is a bad choice, this is a good attitude, this is a bad attitude. It washes that away, and it's like the kids are starting from scratch. So
it's like 12 a new
years
CEO.
Old, 12 years old, and this is why we deal with parents like crazy. The parents are like, "What happened to my kid? What? They're nuts. What's?" And parents feel like they're terrible parents, and they thought it was going to be smooth sailing from here. Well, this is where parenting again is so important. And it's so important to understand what's going on neurologically in their brain. What 5 Star Life does in adolescence is we are teaching kids, obviously parents can support it, but we're teaching them how to develop right mindsets, step by step by step. And they see it work for themselves. They see it work for their own emotions and not living in stress or fear or out of control. Being able to manage your emotions, make clear decisions so you handle things and don't flip out. It's all those things and many more. And I know we're up against a commercial break, but in a nutshell, that's what 5 Star Life is addressing. But
what I want to add too, though, it's not just for the kids that have great parents. These are for all kids. We address all situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every single mindset is so vast. So, but kids are all the same. Mm-hmm. What they want to know is, do I have what it takes to make it in life? Am I smart? Am I strong? Am I capable? Am I loved? Can I learn what I need to learn to do what I need to do to succeed in life? Do I have meaning? Do I have purpose? Does my life matter? And our curriculum teaches all those things step by step by step. So we'll come back and hit some more of that, but we got to break for commercial. Again, go to 5starlife.org to learn more. We'll be right back after this.
This is 5 Star Life Radio on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.